Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. This time we're going to be talking about the rifle that taught me how to shoot. Last video we talked about the rifle that kind of got me excited about firearms and connected movies with real life. And this time we're going to be talking about the rifle that was issued to me as a brand new soldier in the military and really taught me the basics of shooting rifles. Now, full disclosure, my dad taught me how to shoot pistols, but there wasn't much time for rifles. There wasn't really a range for us to shoot rifles. There may have been a time where I shot a .22 long rifle and maybe a black powder musket or something to that effect, but realistically, the military is what taught me how to shoot. More specifically, I learned on this right here, the M16A2. And this is set up in a specific way. We'll talk about that in this video. But a couple things I need to do before we dive into it. Number one is, how did you guys learn how to shoot? Was it through your parents, whether it be your dad or for some of you, maybe your mom? Was it in the military? Was it through some camps or something like that? Let me know down in the comment section down below. In addition to that, if you guys haven't already considered subscribing to the channel, I greatly appreciate you guys doing so. Thumbs up, comments, shares, all of that type of stuff is a great way to support the channel as well. In addition to that, I'm going to have some additional information in the pinned comment, not only about this, but also for my podcast, the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast. It is almost a year since I've launched it, and we've had some really great guests and plenty more to come as well. So check all of that out either in the description or in the pinned comment. I'd appreciate that. The second thing is got to do a little bit of story time with Mark, and to really get you guys to understand and give you some context as to why this was the rifle that I learned how to shoot with, is the fact that I joined the military in 2000. So before 9/11, before all of that type of stuff happened, I was a soldier assigned to 113 Armor Battalion at Fort Riley, Kansas. I enlisted in 2000, did my one-stop unit training at Fort Knox. So basic training, AIT, all together, 17 weeks straight to become a 19-kilo armor crewman. And while I was there, this rifle is what was issued to me, not only to go out and do field problems, but also to qualify with as well. So I learned how to shoot with iron sights. We didn't have red dots at the time, so it was iron sights only, and they really taught me the basics as far as sight picture, sight alignment, breathing control, trigger control. And since then, I've been able to apply that to all the other rifles that I've been reviewing and using for competition, which has allowed me to not only get first round impacts at 575 yards and 600 yards, but also graduate into longer distances with a first round impact in 2019 at 1 mile with a Accuracy International bolt gun, shooting with X-Ring and Dimitri from Primary Arms. That was a lot of fun. And then later on in 2019, also ended up shooting a mile for a second time. That time it wasn't first round impact, but I still was able to impact a mile. But that was with a Palmetto State Armory PA-10 chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and got a pretty awesome impact on target. So that being said, all of that was because of this rifle and learning the correct way to shoot, I guess is the best way to say it. Just a little background with me. Like I said, joined the military in 2000. I have 3 overseas tours, one in Korea in 2002, and then I got back in January 2003, spent 3 months at home, and then went to Iraq for OIF-1. Arrived just after the Thunder run into Baghdad, so assigned to the support the 3rd Infantry Division in Baghdad for stability operations. 3rd ID left, and then my company, Alpha Company 113 Armor, was then assigned to 1st of the 325 Infantry out of the 82nd Airborne, and we basically did convoy operations in Baghdad at the time. So that was the Wild Wild West. A lot of great things came out of that. A lot of bad things came out of that. No stranger to being shot at, not only with small arms, but RPGs, gotten blown up a couple times. So yeah, that was quite the interesting year of my life. And then fast forward to 2010, I was capable of getting a scholarship. Prior to that, to become an officer, I was an ordnance officer with the 101st Airborne Division and deployed to Afghanistan in 2010 and was the battalion maintenance officer and the deputy support operations officer for the 129 CSSB in RC Southwest, Helmand Province. So yeah, that was my job, provide maintenance support and also coalition support to the Estonians as well, which was very, very rewarding. Now, I wasn't a FOBIT. I didn't stay inside the wire in Afghanistan. I did get outside the wire with the Estonians to check property book items that I was financially responsible for, that I had hand receipted to the Estonians so they could use them for combat operations. So I would have to regularly leave the wire and head down to their patrol bases and their COPs and stuff like that to do inventory, essentially. But was able to do that, got onto a couple of convoys with the Estonians, and in turn they were gracious enough to let me shoot a Galil for the very first time, and even got to shoot their MG3 as well. So a lot of great memories from that deployment, and some not so great memories as well. But all that being said, this is the rifle, this is the setup that I carried in Afghanistan. So even though I was with the 101st Airborne Division, a lot of people would have been like, well, shouldn't you have had an M4 with like a ACOG or a M68 CCO and PEC 15 and stuff like that? And yeah, that's what they had, but that was for the line units. I was a sustainer, so my job was to provide support for those guys. Some of the companies in my battalion who did convoy operations day in and day out, they were running M4s for the most part. Some of them were running M16s as well. But this is the setup that I had. And obviously M16A2 with a red dot on a gooseneck mount. We had a Knights Armament rail system with Knights Armament rail covers. I want to say a special thank you to Raytheon's Greatest Warrior on Instagram. He's the one that got me hooked up with this Knights Armament quad rail to really pull this aesthetic together. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. Got to do some wheeling and dealing, and was able to get this on this rifle to complete my Afghan build. Now, the upper receiver on this is a completed upper receiver from H&R. They were recently purchased a year or two ago by Palmetto State Armory, but this is going to be their premium upper receiver. So that's going to be a cold hammer forge FN barrel with a 1-in-7 twist and chrome lining as well. Naturally, since this is a 20-inch barrel, it's going to have a rifle length gas system. It's going to have, going to come with the bulk carrier group and standard mil-spec charging handle. Lower receiver on this was built out by me. I have mentioned in a previous video that I ended up buying like 4 PSA stealth lowers for like 30 bucks a piece last year, and I just used one of them to pull this together. So I had a lower parts kit available, got the A2 buttstock from Brownells, and pulled it together. So this is not going to be a one-for-one copy of the rifle that I carried in Afghanistan, but this is going to be pretty close, and this is going to be okay for me. I'm going to be just fine with this rifle being the way it is, because ultimately this is going to be a conversational piece, something I can take out to the range and brush up on some skills with my iron sights. I can detach the red dot and use the iron sights. I can keep the red dot on and run it as well. Now, one of the issues that I have is this red dot here does not co-witness with the iron sights. That's due to this mount. This is going to be an aim point carbine optic, or the ACO. This mount is just too high and does not co-witness with the iron sights, but I can take it off and just run iron sights if I wanted to do that. Or I can maybe look at the Aimpoint Pro. That might be something that fits this a little bit better, co-witnesses a little bit better. I'll check that out. Maybe we'll do another video in the future to see if anything has changed. So reliability on this is exactly what you would expect. No failures to feed, fire, or eject. Full disclosure, I have not been paid to say anything good, bad, or indifferent about this rifle. This was not sent to me. I did purchase everything on here on my own. H&R and PSA do not know I'm doing this video, so there's that. Groups on this, just shot it at like 25 yards to 0. Group was, you know, exactly what I would expect for iron sights or red dot. First 3 rounds on target was, yeah, within a quarter size, which is exactly what you expect from a rifle when zeroing in the military. That's how you know that everything is coming together. Could you extract more accuracy out of this? Absolutely. We'll do a follow-up video. Actually, we will do a follow-up video on this to see what I can do as far as accuracy goes at 100 yards. We'll test a couple of different ammunitions. We'll look at just standard M193, we'll look at M855, and then we'll bump it up to something a little bit more premium, like some type of 75 grain boat tail hollow point or something like that. So we'll check that out in a future video. But yeah, just running a few drills, shooting from the prone at about 100 yards. Rounds on target were exactly what you'd expect, pretty consistent. So yeah, there it is. My Afghan build. It has brought back a lot of memories, some good, some bad, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's a conversational piece and I'm glad I have it. And yeah, there you go. If you guys were in the military, let me know what you carried. Was it an M16? Was it an M4? How was it set up? All those different types of things. That would be pretty awesome to hear, and really do appreciate it. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks again for swinging by and checking things out. If you haven't already checked out the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast, again, we'll have a link to that down in the pinned comment. I'd really appreciate you guys checking that out. Thanks again. We'll see you guys on the next video. As always, freedom through strength. Here comes a high five. Catch you guys later. Bye, y'all.